So we find ourselves arriving at the second domestic cup final of the save. More confident it'll be our first silverware of the season. We've just got to go to Wembley, put on a good performance, and then finish out the season strongly. Hopefully, put the smile on the Sunderland fans' faces and draw the season to a decent close. Just the one game since you were last here, a come from behind victory against Leicester. Janacek got the equaliser just before half time, before Trio Ogunsi came off the bench to grab his first two Premier League goals for Sunderland. Great to see him finally getting the goals. Felt his development has deserved at least a couple of league goals or European goals at least, and he has managed to get those under his belt. 3 goals for the season now, and another exciting prospect we might have on our hands. He will be homegrown at the club now, so we are going to send him out on loan, see if he can develop further next season. Still games this season though. We are up against Brighton in the FA Cup final. Obviously this is a huge game for us, and one which I felt we had to give some of the homegrown players a game in, just to thank them for the service. The only one who isn't featuring in the squad so far is Bennett. Bennett and Ogunsi, but first team players is really Bennett. So we are going to put him on the bench in place of Alarcon. And you know what, he's going to get in start in place of Laurent as well. Patterson's in goal, Seals, Andrews, Janacek and Serkin are the defenders. Neil, Bellingham and Rigg making up the homegrown midfield, with Barton, Bennett and Den Boggender up front. Hopefully we are going to give the performance that we deserve and come back with the FA Cup. I tell the players that the fans are the ones that make... The fans have been there for them all season, and we do want to go and win this for the fans more than anyone else. It is obviously a full Wembley Stadium, 2 well supported clubs. Brighton, they are struggling in the Premier League, looking likely they're going down, so they could do with a cup win themselves just to give a bit of cheer into their season. We're obviously going to hope to spoil that party and make sure that we pile on the misery double time for them. Obviously our next game in the league is against them as well, but we're going to hope that by that point we've demoralised them enough in this game that they're not going to be any kind of a threat to us in that match. We have started with early pressure in this game. First highlight wasn't really any clear-cut opportunity, but this one has presented a clear-cut opportunity. Ball in, I think it was Sale originally with the ball in, but Barr, he heads it back across, and there is Chris Rigg. He is the Sunderland player. Job actually with the ball to the back post. Barr heads it back. There's Chris Rigg. He's in a fantastic position and he puts it in the top corner. 2 minutes into the game, that was just 1-0 up. Looking to make it 2 before 10 minutes has hit the board. Barr not quite able to get it under control there, but we do have Sales. He was going down the right hand side, but the highlight ended there. Great start from us though. Only won the goal. Brighton have a set piece and Dunk just heads it over the bar. Obviously with this 1 goal lead, Brighton are still very much a threat, can just get back into it with the 1 goal. If we do see them have set pieces like this, chances are one of them could hit the back of the net sooner rather than later. We're going to counter though. Chris Rigg gets it to Bennett. Bennett not able to do anything with it though. Chris Rigg was the only player up with him. If he could have found Chris Rigg, chances are we would have had a second goal. Not quite able to get it across to him though. And now Brighton looking to counter themselves. Solly March, he gets the ball in. Evan Ferguson should be doing better. A player of his quality in that position. And just thinking, was talking about maybe needing another striker come the summer. If Brighton do get relegated, that would be a very realistic chance of Evan Ferguson being available. So something maybe to look out for in the upcoming transfer window. that could be a very interesting prospect indeed. Evan Ferguson at a club like Sunderland. He's got his 16th goal of the season there, pending a VAR review. I didn't see any particular offside in that scenario, so I imagine it will stand, and it has stood. I think I've got a few of those wrong in the past, so at least my eyesight's better, but not good for us. It is 1-1, and like we were saying, that 1-goal lead is always dubious. Brighton have got back into the match now, and we just need to make sure that we actually start putting some more of these chances away. Chris Rigg plays it to Job, and he gets it out to Bar. Bar cuts inside and unleashes an effort with his right foot, and that hits the bar and then goes out of play. And it is another dangerous set piece from Brighton. Taki tries to get the ball into the back post. He does. Kapurkis has a shot. I think that ricochets off the bar, back to the corner taker, but then we get out. And Brighton really showing that they aren't, going down without a little bit of cheer in the season. Trying really hard to win this FA Cup final against us. We really need to be putting on much better performances. Tin is through, but Verbruggen able to make the save to keep it at 1-1. Cirkin now, he's going to deliver the corner into the box. No one able to get the head on it, and Job, he has the shot. I think that was saved for the keeper. Bar with an effort, and he puts it over the bar. Really should be ahead in this game, looking at the chances we've created, but unfortunately it is still 1-1, and we just need to be doing more in order to get us ahead in the game. That's Tinden bonging a shot from the edge of the box, hits the post. Another opportunity which went close for us, but wasted yet again. Chris Rigg with the ball into the box. No one able to get on the end of it, and still remains 1-1. Brighton appear to be hanging on for dear life, but still hanging on. We wasting chance after chance. Sealt now gets it forward to Job. He's into Bennett, and Bennett with a chance to stretch his legs. Not able to. Chris Rigg with another shot. I think that was saved by the keeper and tipped onto the post, but again, we have not found the back of the net. And looking like it could be one of those days again where the chances are coming our way thick and fast. We're not putting them away, and just hopefully Brighton aren't going to be able to take advantage of that. We are going to keep the same team for the start of the second half, but changes are going to be likely. Dan Neil has just come back from injury. I think this is his first game since coming back. He's not going to be able to last the 90 minutes, so he will be coming off at some point. And as well, Den Boggins are really not having the best of games, so probably looking like Bonnie is going to come on. Bennett now able to slip down the right hand side. Gilmore tackles him low, and now we have the ball back in midfield. Job out at Bennett again. He cuts inside onto a stronger left foot. Bar with the header, and that is Den Boggins. I think that one will stand. Again, there's a VAR review, but Den Boggins looked to be onside. Bar again with the header from someone else's cross. He puts it in Den Boggins' path this time. And feeling really glad about my decision to start Bar this game. Was and ahhing about him, Alicon or Clark. And Bar got the nod. And that's the second time he's done that in this game. Someone crossed the ball in, he's at the back post. Realised there was better options to take the opportunity on. Got it across to them, and they've then scored from his knockdowns. But like we say, he had a bit of a drop in form earlier in the season, but really in the past few games has come back to something of his best, and I really start to feel his future is at Sunderland again. Some big decisions to be made in the upcoming transfer window. Some players, I think Jack Clark among them, maybe still at the club more through loyalty than talent. We'll have a proper review of the squad. As we're talking about this, Jewison Bennett, he puts us 3-0 up. He is a player who there probably are many better players in his position who we could improve, but with the output that he has, it's very hard to remove him from this team. I think his speed is a fantastic asset for us and for him in general, and he uses it to devastating effect. I think that was the 17th goal of the season, if I read that correctly. It was. So we can say that he is really a key player for us with the opportunities that he does put away, and just wanting him to really keep kicking on. Him, Laurent and Shaqiri Van Persie can compete in that position maybe for next season as well. Speaking of Van Persie, we will bring him on now. Bennett, he's had a fantastic performance. He can get a bit of a standing ovation from the crowd as he goes off, and just a chance for Big Shaq to get some more fitness into his legs. Obviously not much of the season left to be played, so don't need him to be fit really, but just really like the fact that he's back before the end of the season and we have the opportunity to maybe get him another goal before the end of the season. Gonna hope that even if he doesn't get a goal, he can at least avoid another injury, and hoping that all of these players really can avoid the injuries at the end of the season. Into stoppage time now. Chris Rigg is going to float the ball into the box, looking for Den Boggander's head. He's not able to win it, but Chris Rigg, able to drive into the box, has an effort, and the keeper puts it behind for a corner. Really much better in the second half. Have really earned this win, and just being a bit more clinical, putting the chances away now. Shaquille Van Persie has the effort. Got to feel fit and match sharp. Shaquille Van Persie was putting that one in the back of the net. It's not going to be any issue for us though. You can see us walking up on the Wembley pitch up to that podium, and I think it's Anthony Patterson who's going to be lifting the trophy for us. Great moment for him, and just a great moment for the Sunderland squad. First trophy of the season. We have got the FA Cup win. Will guarantee us a European place for next season. Think in the Europa League, not 100% sure which one, but a great performance from us. A couple of games now left of the season. Brighton up next, that one will be off camera before we come back for Aston Villa. Then we'll have the season review and just a general preparation for the transfer window coming up. Just confirmation, we will be back in the Europa League for next year, and some delicious budgets of 88.32 million just instantly available to us. Obviously we'll be able to add to that through player sales. 1.5 million wage budget if we do have a look. That gives us probably at this stage one player's worth of wages available. Obviously can do a bit of fiddling with that to adjust that and give us a bit more, but those are some nice budgets to be working with for next season, and nice to be back in the Europa League, where hopefully next year we can take it one step further and go on and win that final. No surprises in that Brighton game, a 4-1 win. Bennett, Ballard, Walters and Ahmedhodzic on the score sheet for us in a 4-1 win. Leaves us 9th in the Premier League. Still a slim chance of getting that 7th place finish. We're going out there with a team where potentially saying goodbye to quite a few of the players who are in this squad. Patterson in goal. Triantis, Seals, Andreu and Sirkin are defenders. Realistically, Sirkin and Triantis both players who will be looked to be moved on this summer. If we have interest in Sealed or Andreu, maybe something we might look to pursue, but not going to actively look to get rid of them at all. Dan Neil, Tim and Rigg in midfield. Despite how much I do appreciate the influence Tim has in this team, there is talk of him moving on in the summer, and again, if there's interest, not going to be forced him out of the club, but maybe something could happen in that area. Van Persie and Clark behind Alarcon. Maybe looking to move Alarcon on, despite the obvious sort of like impact he does bring. He is very inconsistent for us. And I think the big one is Jack Clark. probably am going to be looking to try to move him on this summer. One of the reasons I am looking to do this is if you do just repair Jack Clark and Abdullah Bar is almost the better player. Not quite as fast, better vision, and the areas where he is behind technical and attacking wise, he's 3 years Clark's junior, so I feel in those 3 years he has more than enough time to develop those areas and surpass Clark. As well, he does have the benefit of being homegrown at club. With our continued participation in the Europa League, having players who are homegrown at club is vital for us, so having Bar stick around is something that is key for us. We can see as well, just over the course of the season, Bar 8 goals and 10 assists, average rating of 7.03. Despite Clark having that big injury, he's managed to make 25 appearances, 3 goals, 6 assists, but his average rating is not quite as good. He's got another game to prove himself here, but a lot of these players probably looking to be moved on throughout the summer. It is the final game of the season at the Stadium of Light, and isn't going to be the easiest game for us in the world. Aston Villa are still fighting for the Champions League positions, so they are looking for a good result in this game, definitely. And with the players that we've put out, it's definitely not close to our first team, and Aston Villa will be fancying the chances. Tim playing against his old club, of course, having an effort from distance there, which Martinez does need to make a save for. But like we're saying, it has been quite a good season for us. The first season in Europe, it is always difficult to compete in Europe and the Premier League, but getting a top half finish is, I think, a good achievement for us. Have shown some inconsistent form throughout the season. I think the first games after the European fixtures we were quite poor in them, and that is where we did lose quite a few points throughout the season. I think in the second half of the season that has improved a lot without having as many European games pop up on as a regular basis. So that's allowed us to improve our league form slightly, but hopefully next year we can go on and improve some more. We do have a transfer window to improve the team, and like we're saying, loyalty isn't going to be as much of a factor in this window. Some players will be moved on if I feel upgrades can be made in those areas. So I expect a lot of change to be made at the club this summer. Some stalwarts potentially moved on and looking to bring in new people to take their place. It's going to be a very big summer for us, and I think realistically it's going to be moving into probably the last season of this save. Coming up to the new year, I do want to begin a new save shortly, so we'll have one more season dedicated to Sunderland, try to get them another trophy at least, if not a European trophy or a Premier League title as well. Will be a very tough challenge for us, but I have faith in the squad that will be able to assemble over the summer. It will be able to take us into that next level. With the last match that we had against Brighton, we did win that game, and it did officially confirm Brighton's relegation. So like we were mentioning, they do have Evan Ferguson. He could very much be a player who we look to take. Clark's going to come off. He hasn't had a great game at all. He can get maybe one last applause from the Sunderland fans. Laurent can come on in place of Van Persie. Van Persie having a very poor game. Maybe to be expected though after the injury he has had. Elsewhere, I am going to bring in Peyton Miller for Dennis Serkin. Serkin can get an applause. He's going to look to be sold this summer, and just get Peyton Miller a little bit of more game time in the first team. Sale with a header just over the bar there. He's probably going to switch over to right back in a moment, and we're going to take Trantis off. He is tiring, but again, another player who's going to get a round of applause from the Sunderland fans before realistically looking to be sold this summer. We have now gone 1-0 ahead in the game. A very chaotic goal from Aston Villa's point of view. Lauren drifting into the box. No Aston Villa player putting a tackle in. He has the shot. Martinez makes a save. It hit off Kyle Walker's, and they just can't stop it from going into the back of the net. 1-0 to us. Like we say, a couple of changes which we can make. Dan Ballard will be coming on. Seal drifting out to the right back, and Ballard centre back, and Tim as well. He's tiring, so Joe Bellingham can come on in his place for the final change. Just see out this final 20 minutes. Think we can say Newcastle losing, but Spurs are having a good result. So we are currently 8th in the table. Den Bongada, I think, has just put us 2-0 up. I don't think there is an offside here, and it has been allowed. Has Alarcon got himself another assist? He hasn't. It's Loran. Loran with a good ball through. Den Bongada, great finish on his weaker right foot as well. He gets it into the back of the net, and we look like we're comfortably heading for this victory. Aston Villa losing out on Champions League football on the last game of the season. If they had got a win against us as well, they would have qualified. So they'll be doubly disappointed when they see the final results elsewhere that they haven't been able to do it. Tottenham naturally getting a late goal just to confirm their win. We're going to walk around, get the applause from the fans for this final day. An 8th place finish for us. Put a nice little shine out on a relatively good season for us. Like we say, European football again. That's going to be delightful. And ending the season with a 4-game win streak, one of them being the FA Cup final. It's just what the Sunderland fans would want. See there, ran it very close. I think if we compare this to last season as well, we have actually surpassed our total in terms of points. So last season, 7th place on 60 points. This year, 8th place, 64 points. So we have actually had a better points return this season. Just so it happens that there's been other teams who've managed to pick up more points as well. We're still in the Europa League though. Aston Villa had the chance to qualify for the Champions League. They find themselves in the Conference League. That'll be disappointing for them. Tottenham, I think, do have a Europa League Conference final. Well, Europa Conference League final, to play. That's in 3 days' time. We have got the season review. Nice to see the first trophy there. FA Cup shining brightly on the review. If we do just have a look at the new arrivals, unsurprisingly, Tim Den Boganda got the sign of the season. I think he has had more of an impact than I imagined he would. Did think he would take a while to settle into the team, but he's got 20 goals for us, 3 assists throughout the season, and I think just overall he has improved quite dramatically as well. So he could very much be a regular in our squad for years to come. Looking here as well, some decent signings which we had made throughout the season. My personal favourite probably is going to be Tim Den Boganda as well. I think he has come in and been the best of the new bunch. Shaquille Van Persie was cutting him close at the start of the season, but unfortunately that big injury, the broken leg which he got, put him out for 5 months, the bulk of the season, and hasn't quite been able to pick up the form that he had upon his return. Are hopeful with a full pre-season under his belt he can return to those ways he was in when he first joined. Obviously A+ from the board for the Premier Division and the FA Cup, C+ for the Carabao Cup. Quite disappointed with the A- for the semi-final of the Europa League. Really thought our performances in there were beyond anything that was expected of us. So was expecting that to be a plus as well. Bit bitter about that one, but we'll move on. Biggest win of the season was a 6-0 against Bordeaux Glimt. Trey Hume on the score sheet there. Obviously he has been a big player for us, but left in January. He'll be someone who we actually do need to replace in the transfer window. Didn't really bring in a right back to replace him, so that is definitely an area which is on our radar to replace. Goal of the season, Ouedraogo against Man U. Unfortunately can't see it here, but it was a free kick from 26 metres. Probably was a good goal. He does score some quite good goals from time to time, and yeah, get another season for him in which he has developed very nicely. Started off quite slow, but 11 goals, 10 assists across the season. Again, another player where we have to be happy with the impact he has had for us this season. Interestingly, our first season in Europe and broadcast revenue is down from last year. Not quite sure how that could have happened, but yeah, strange one. Sponsorship up massively low, so lots of pluses on the financial aspect of the club. So for next season, pretty dramatic shift in the board expectations. We want to finish mid-table in the Premier Division and reach the latter stages of the Europa League now. So definitely higher expectations there. Delighted with everything else we're doing though. We really have been following the club vision in everything which we have been doing. So very happy with the board being as happy as they are with me. We are going to have the team meeting for next season. Talk about the Premier League. We're definitely going to finish mid-table. Great with that. And that'll be all for now. We're at a stage now where I don't really need to say much to the players. We've got an understanding between me and them. They don't need to hear some wishy-washy nonsense about, how great they've been. They just want to go on holiday. They don't need any of this drivel. Like we say, just now waiting to see if that Europa League conference final has any impact on the European football we're going to be playing next season. I can't imagine it will, but there was a late change last year. That's been played now. Nothing has come through. If we do just have a quick look at Spurs. That's why. They did what Spurs do and they bottled it in the final of the competition. So, Europa League football for us next year, and we'll leave it there, and that definitely leaves us nicely for the transfer episode coming up tomorrow. Please remember to drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed that. Comment down below any transfer suggestions for the summer. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.